Global mortality associated with 33 bacterial pathogens, a systematic analysis for the global burden of disease study. What's strange about the stats? According to a study published online November 21 in The Lancet, a weekly peer-reviewed general medical journal and one of the oldest of its kind, it is also the world's highest impact academic journal. A total of 7.7 million deaths were associated with 33 bacterial pathogens in 2019, comprising 13.6% of all global deaths. More than 75% of the bacterial deaths occurred because of three syndromes: lower respiratory infections, LRI, bloodstream infections, BSI, and peritoneal and intra-abdominal infections, IAA. The top 5 bacterial pathogenic organisms responsible for 55% of fatalities due to bacterial organisms investigated were Staphylococcus aureus, 1.1 million deaths, Escherichia coli, 950,000 deaths, Streptococcus pneumoniae, 829,000 deaths, Klebsiella pneumoniae, 790,000 deaths, and Pseudomonas aeruginosa, 559,000 deaths. Age-standardized mortality rates varied by location, as did the deadliest pathogens. Sub-Saharan Africa recorded the highest mortality rate, with 230 deaths per 100,000 population. By comparison, the high-income super-region, which includes countries in Western Europe, North America and Australasia, recorded the lowest mortality rate, with 52 deaths per 100,000 population. Staphylococcus aureus was the leading bacterial cause of death in 135 countries, followed by Escherichia coli, 37 countries, Streptococcus pneumoniae, 24 countries, Klebsiella pneumoniae and Acinetobacter baumannii, 4 countries each. The pathogens associated with the most deaths differed by age. With 940,000 deaths, S. aureus was associated with the most deaths in adults aged over 15 years. The most deaths in children aged 5 to 14 years were associated with Salmonella enterica cerevisiae typhi, with 49,000 deaths. In children older than newborns but under 5 years of age, Streptococcus pneumoniae was the deadliest pathogen, accounting for 225,000 deaths. The pathogen associated with the most neonatal deaths was Klebsiella pneumoniae, with 124,000 deaths. A sobering reality is that a high burden of treatable infections occurred in very young age groups, the authors write. Strategies to address the burden of bacterial infections include, in particular, vaccine development, and improved and more pervasive use of available vaccines. These estimates can be used to help set priorities for vaccine need, demand, and development, which is not surprising since the lion's share of the research funding had been provided by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Global number of deaths for bacteria, like Streptococcus pneumoniae, among neonatal, 0 days to 27 days old, post-neonatal, 28 days to 1 year old, and children to 4 years of age, raises some questions. Since a couple of months before, The Lancet published a study age-sex differences in the global burden of lower respiratory infections, LRI, mainly caused by bacteria such as Streptococcus pneumoniae, and risk factors, 1990 to 2019, results from the Global Burden of Disease Study 2019 and APOS, where the researchers concluded that LRI episodes and deaths in children younger than 15 years were estimated to have decreased, and the greatest decline was observed for LRI deaths in males younger than 5 years, -70.7%. You may compare